You're right. There's a growing list of Republican senators, Republican congressmen and women, White House officials in the Republican Party that are saying, yeah, sure, senior citizens are going to die, but what the hell?
Welcome to this week's Wacky Moments of Liberal Expression. And it was an amazing week over at MSNBC because they finally got around to covering the sexual assault allegations made against Joe Biden by former staffer Tara Reade. Now, I know, I almost didn't believe it. So let's go to the video and see the proof.
Then in March, Tara Reade expanded her story to say that she was sexually assaulted by Biden in a corridor of the Capitol complex in the spring of 1993 when she brought him a gym bag. Now, I've spoken with Reade multiple times since she made those allegations, and Mike Memoli and I, who also reported this story with me, have also spoken with 5 people who Reade says she told varying degrees of detail to over the time.
We're seeing Ali Vitale, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. The President of the United States has taken the podium. It is now 1 month since he declared a national emergency. Let's listen.
Whoa, suddenly they want to take the president's press conference, which is, you know, kind of weird for MSNBC.
Most of the people watching are the people arguing none of us should be carrying these events live, which is a conversation and a debate for another time. Who is watching and who do you think he's aiming at? Is this straight to the base? Because this is a 2-hour undertaking for any and all of us who watch this.
Oh boy, well, we hate to put you out, Brian. I mean, no wonder CNN and MSNBC lead the way for cutting away from the president's press conferences, especially when the president takes a moment to call out the media like he did on Monday by playing a video. This video really hurt their feelings.
The briefing was breathtaking from beginning to when we dropped out, and at times it bordered on dangerous.
I'm not even sure where to begin with that briefing. There was this propaganda video touting the administration's response.
The president began with a propaganda video.
I can only call it a propaganda video. That crazy propaganda video.
One thing we should point out about that video, which looked straight out of Beijing or Pyongyang, I mean, there were White House officials who were working on that video this afternoon.
You know, the White House made it, so that's taxpayer money.
So that video, campaign-style video, propaganda video, whatever you want to call it, was paid for with your tax dollars.
Whoa, propaganda videos made by people paid with taxpayer dollars. I am outraged. I mean, I think there's a name for that. Yeah, but of course, you know, they don't care about that. That's not what they're complaining about. Left-leaning coverage is completely loved by these hacks. If you want to express frustration with excessive stay-at-home orders in your state, well, the leftist media won't mention things like the Bill of Rights, but they will call you names.
Protesters today demonstrated both in Kentucky and in the great state of Michigan against the stay-at-home orders that are in place in those states as well. These are doubling as sort of Trump rallies and we don't believe in the coronavirus rallies.
Are you religious and support our president? Well, if you do, they have a name for you too.
I've written a lot about this. I've spoken a lot about the way in which Trump's evangelical supporters have started to seem like a kind of cult, a deeply insular group that's bound together by this extreme devotion to a charismatic leader.
Sure, unlike the cult of leftist media, the cult that hates the president of the United States and his press conferences so much that they advocate on air for a freaking shadow government.
What did you just call it? The president's daily clown show? That's his press briefing? Should Joe Biden be counter-programming that? Should he be creating his own shadow government, shadow cabinet, shadow SWAT team?
Joe Biden's shadow SWAT team. That's fantastic. But Joe doesn't even need a shadow SWAT team because he's got the media out there for him taking tactical action. I mean, they're really making an all-out assault on the president, announcing reopening guidelines for the states.
My God, watch out. If you're especially in the greatest generation, if you're a World War II veteran in your 90s, if you're a Vietnam veteran in your 60s,
if you're in
70s,
Donald Trump or John Kennedy's generation.
If you're a Korean War veteran in your 70s or 80s, well, the hell with you, because you're right. There's a growing list of Republican senators, Republican congressmen and women, White House officials in the Republican Party that are saying, yeah, sure, senior citizens are going to die, but what the hell? We really got to get Wall Street moving again.
When they aren't claiming the reopening guidelines are out to kill people, they'll claim that the move is a cover-up in a constitutional crisis.
The president
can try to rewrite history. He can try to cover up and do what he does best, which is cover his own flank.
He also said that he's ready for a constitutional fight.
Yeah, Willie, the only way this situation gets worse is if the president creates a constitutional crisis.
Really? A constitutional crisis again? I mean, didn't we just have one when Trump fought off the Russiagate conspiracy? I think we've heard this tune before.
The constitutional crisis alarm bells are ringing. But is anybody listening?
This is leading to a constitutional crisis.
Destruction of the constitutional norms.
Constitutional crisis. Constitutional crisis.
Could be a constitutional crisis.
The president really wants a constitutional crisis?
Constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
Perhaps constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis.
Making this a constitutional crisis.
It's always the same old song and dance from the leftists, folks, and our dance card's now filled. I'm Eric Shiner for MRC-TV. Thanks for watching. Please check out MRC-Store for great conservative gear, MRCTV.org for great conservative content, and like and share and subscribe to the videos on Facebook and on YouTube. I'll be back with some more leftist media wackiness next week.